genetics are a product of our ancestors and our ancestors' environment. The biggest part of our ancestors' environment was the food they ate. And one of the biggest choices that our ancestors had was whether they are eating mostly vegetables or they're eating significant amounts of meat, animal products, seafood, dairy, etc. We know now that that choice affects our metabolism, affects our genes, that we're born with certain genes that correspond to our ancestors' diets. And so with ancestors that were principally vegetarian with very little meat and animal products in their diet, we have a different kind of metabolism than with persons who have ancestors that had very high amounts of meat, very high amounts of seafood, high amounts of dairy, for instance. And a mismatch between a modern diet and the diet of our ancestors can be very problematic. If a parent imposes a diet on a child that is very different than the genetic heritage of that child, that is the genes of that child, there is a risk that there will be a mismatch and that child's metabolism will not be optimal for that diet, that their health will not be optimal, and that will play out as they age. But we do know a good guide is to consume the foods that were characteristic for our ancestors. And there's a vulnerable period when the brain is growing rapidly, and if it doesn't have the right nutrients, it is forever different. The risks of a strict vegan diet are nutrient deficiencies that are related to those in meats. That is to say that meat has the right proportions and the right levels of certain nutrients that are not found in those levels in vegetables. In order to have a healthy vegan diet, one has to very carefully choose vegetables in order to make up a nutrient profile that looks like more or less some meat, some kind of a carnivorous diet. And so it's very difficult to do that for most people. The Mediterranean diet in general really is widely recognized in the Western world as a very healthy diet.